I mean,
Set it is.
I feel like we've talked enough about like the good mid laners in the league. What I want to know is Jensen's opinion on a couple of the imports that we brought in this year.
Ica.
Yep. Tell me about Ica and Ryoma, because I flame these guys nonstop. Like, to me, they just like, I feel like when you look at EU, right, you look at all the insane mid laners, right? It's
these guys should be renamed. He should be Ica and Go Homer. That's what their fucking name should be, because these guys are garbage. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, what's your opinion of like players like this being imported? Do you think that like just NA is just this dead for talent? Is there anyone you play in solo queue where you're like, yeah, this guy could be pretty good? I mean, for my money, right? When you look at Insanity play, he already looks better than Ica and Ryoma to me. I would rather fucking have guys like that having chances. I'd rather have Palafox from Academy get an LCS and see what he can do than seeing like either of these guys. Like, what's your perception of these guys?
Even the disrespect on Demonte that he couldn't even get in at the beginning of the fucking year, but these guys get brought in. It's like, what?
Oh, I mean, I heard. I don't know if you heard this, but I mean, I'll let Jensen answer that question in a second. But just for you, Thorin. So part of the reason why Demonte didn't get to start was there was apparently a clause in Froggen's contract that he must have started. Like he literally, it was written in his contract that he had a starter only clause. So
you're
he
saying
couldn't
it like
actually
it's
play.
funny. Jensen's now learning that wasn't a joke. You should get that in the contract.
Fuck, why didn't I have that in my contract?
And I will be the starter at all times. That's fucking sick. That's baller.
I feel like that's a Dignitas contract. That's not a C9 contract. C9 does not fucking around like that. They're not like, no, you can just int the whole split and we won't care just because you're Jensen.
Bearing in mind the Hootie contract, I could believe Dignitas just sends over a contract and it's like, you haven't filled in any of the fills. Yeah, you just fill it in for us. You just put in right the salary. Fucking nobody will be allowed to replace me. Like, that is ridiculous. Anyway, what do you think though about the
Ica Ryoma?
About the weird imports essentially?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious there was like some bias when they signed them, right? Like for Immortals, they have the French coach, and then for
actually, Jensen, Ica said that there wasn't any bias. So just throwing that out there. He said there was no bias.
There is no way he said that with a straight face, though, right?
Oh, he tweeted it. You can't even tell. That's why it was smart. He never said it in an interview.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree, though. Like, I mean, maybe they saw something in Ica that no one else had seen before, but he must have played somewhere else. I think he must have played in the French league, right?
He played LFL for like 3 years.
Yeah, he's in the national leagues, basically, in one of the better teams. He's in LDLC, which is like one of the best
I
teams.
guess it makes sense, like, that they don't want to like gamble on like a new NA mid laner up and comer, so they had to try to get an import. And I mean, I don't know why they couldn't get someone else. That is a good question. Because I think Ica is definitely not performing up to the level he should be.
Yeah.
And
did you see, by the way, Dom? I don't know if you know this. I didn't even flame Ica that much, but when I made a tweet about Ica, dude, all the people in the French scene like went in on me, like the fucking famous commentators, whatever they're fucking called, like Fish and Chips or whatever those cunts are called. Like those guys were going in on me. Ica himself was going in on me, which is like, listen, Ica, you've just lost every 1v1 in the LCS. You want to lose a 1v1 with a Twitter god as well? Fuck with me, boy. I don't know, this guy doesn't know it's good for him. Go back to the national leagues. Well, I have more Twitter followers than you.
It just seems like when you look at like other people. So for example, the thing about EU is you guys just shit out mid laners. It's like, oh, who is this guy Melitza? Oh, I haven't heard about him before this year. I mean, he already looks like he's a solid fucking like good mid laner. It seems like it's very easy to get a mid laner over there. But yeah, I mean, I guess like the question on Ica was more like, do you think that like that NA is actually that dry for talent like that? Like, do you think that there's no NA mid laners that deserve to be in LCS over some of the imports we have?
No, I mean, of course not, because like you said, when Insanity came in, like he actually started performing better. But I think orgs are just too afraid to take chances on new upcoming NA talent for some reason. So they just have them all like chill in Academy. Yeah, I mean, Insanity is playing better, so there's not much more to that.
Yeah. I even think there's actually an angle that people don't normally think of, which is think of like who the tenured NA mids are. It's Golden Glue and Poor Belter, right? You've actually basically think of like the concept of natural selection, right? What people get mistaken for is they think natural selection is that the world wanted like a frog to be able to like fucking walk or something. No, the premise is there's a filter and only whatever makes it through the filter survives and everything else dies. And then the idea is that's why it's selected. It wasn't literally selected. It's just that's what the filter's selected for. So in the same sense, is it any wonder that NA doesn't have star mid laners like Europe, a region where the mid laner is the star player, whereas what happens in NA, if you're an NA mid laner like put golden glue, poor belter. Your job is not to be the star of the team. It's to prop up the fucking imports in the other lanes. So I even think like the way that they've done it in NA is like a terrible approach. Like they've basically made mid lane when it's an NA player. It's never the main player in the team. So you're never going to find a player like that because basically you'd have to be like Demonte would have to be like twice as good before you'd even use him the way you wanted to. Like I'd even argue it. People forget this. Remember, Demonte didn't start on Clutch Gaming. What was the team he was on before? Like
Echo
wasn't
Fox.
he on fucking 100 Thieves or something? Yeah. Echo Fox. There we go.
He was on Echo Fox and it was Phoenix.
Looked terrible. Yeah, dude, that looked terrible when he was on that team. So yeah, same scenario. So I think that's a problem as well. Is if you have some of these talents, like Insanity looks like he could be it. Demonte has some games where he's good. If you're going to bring them in the team, it's mid lane. Like, what's the point in having mid lane be supportive, in my opinion? You're never going to do anything at Worlds with that. So you may as well gamble that these guys are good. If they're not, then get the European. If they are, then fuck it. We built the team around them at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think NA teams try to avoid getting NA mid laners because, you know, Bjergsen, like, basically dominated NA when he first came. And I think they realized there was not really, like, any NA mid laner that could really stand up to him. And since mid lane is like such an important role, like they probably think they have to get the carry from mid lane. So then they're like, oh, let's try to get another import, and that's how it starts.
What about the other player that we were talking about, Ryoma? Because we've heard that he could, like, he's, you know, younger, a lot less proven than Ica. You know, Ica played in LEC or EU LCS at the time in season 6 or season 7. Like, he's been around for a long time. Ryoma's fairly new to pro play. I mean, I think he started playing like maybe season 7 of OPL, but you know, there's obviously an adjustment period because it's so much lower of a league. Do you think that there's any like potential? I mean, it just is what it is.
Fuck, like that Emas all had no competitive experience.
Yeah, exactly. That's my whole point. It's if you play 3 years in EU and you're not good, it's like, okay, maybe you're not fucking good. If you play 3 years in OPL and like you don't even know if the person's good if they fucking win because it's OPL. Like there's nothing you can gain from there. Do you think there's more like potential in Ryoma? Do you think that like we're gonna see more out of him, or is it to the point where you're just like, yeah, this guy's just not it?
Honestly, I mean, I should be honest, right? Like I imagine they're probably gonna get rid of him, but I don't really know. Like, I don't even know like where this guy came from. Like, what did he do before?
He was imaginary country that doesn't actually exist called Australia, down under.
Okay, but like
that's
he was in OPL, right? Like,
yeah,
was he really like the winning?
Basically, the reason why, in theory, he was recruited is because like. In the OPL, people did say supposedly he was like some next level player. He looked really promising. And so one thing people don't know is, I mean, you alluded to it, but people think, just as with Ica going to a French coach, they think that it's because Papa Smithy's involved with 100 Thieves that he just wanted a player from Australia, right? What they don't seem to remember is that wasn't the only team who wanted him. Like, I heard there was other teams trying this guy out and were actually like actively pursuing him. So it sounds to me like a few different teams were going to get him. And unfortunately, 100 Thieves gambled and then they just lost the gamble on that one, you know?
So did he win OPL or something?
Yes, he did.
I think so. Yeah, I think he was supposed to be the best team.
Yeah, he was in the best team, which was called Order. Or sorry, it was called Bombers at the time, and I think he played with actually FBI. So.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think at least for 100 Thieves, like I imagine they can still just play Yasuo mid lane if they want to have a chance. I don't know.
Just play Yasuo mid lane? Is that like one of the things that you think he's pretty good on that they should play?
No, I'm talking about Mo.
Oh, you think Mo should come into? Okay, all right. I think that's enough that we need to hear about
Him
Ryoma.
is Yasuo with 2 S's because he puts the ass in Yasuo.
What the fuck?
I'm doing good work today, actually. Maybe this is my time, 5 a.m. That's all my best ideas.
Yeah, I mean, are we gonna just start scheduling the show at 5 a.m., Thorin? Is that the move now? Like, Jesus.